So these, wow, some very fast shooting from both teams here. Wow, this is very tricky to see who's even doing better. I mean, that was so fast. Both these teams are shooting so quickly. Now we're into some of the more intense situations, these scenarios where we see that Jamie is just racking up score here. Team opti-fuzzy doing pretty well with avoidance and after taking that first hit. Oh, Jamie, Windows 95 laying some mines. He is not moving. We've seen a lot of that from the University of Alberta teams, but they prioritize shooting and dropping mines when they're going to be hit. Oh, I think opti-fuzzy sort of helped out the Alberta team right there by shooting one of the asteroids. Windows 95 already out of the game. opti-fuzzy taking some really nice advantage of their invincibility frames. So the teams, the ships, after they are hit by a mine or an asteroid or another ship, they do have invincibility for a few seconds. You can see right there their ring around the ship sprite turns red, which indicates that they were hit, but they have invincibility for a few seconds. And so it is a big advantage if you can move somewhere safe during those invincibility frames. One thing to note, though, is if you do shoot or drop a mine, it does take away your invincibility frames. Some fun mine placement there by Windows 95. Team opti-fuzzy getting caught along the edges there, not able. Oh man, both of them getting caught by the closing walls on each side. opti-fuzzy looks like they're not able to avoid getting hit initially, but they are able to take advantage of their invincibility frames to move to at least more safe positions, although as soon as I said that, they moved right into the wall of asteroids, but that's okay. Again, Windows 95 just continuing to sit there, drop mines if it has to, but then just sucking up all these points by just shooting asteroids, carving out its little nook in the space. And opti-fuzzy doing a lot better in this scenario. It already lost a couple lives, but got hit there with the wrap. We'll have to ask the opti-fuzzy team afterwards how they dealt with the wrap, if they did at all. Wow, some real interesting behaviors. Now we're moving into the corridor situation. So these are one of my favorites because the teams can essentially decide whether they want to prioritize movement and shooting, or if they're good enough at shooting, like what Windows 95 is doing right now, they can carve out essentially a path and just ignore the corridor. Then they also have a few mines. In this one, they have quite a few more mines than they normally do. And the reason for that is we want them to more strategically place mines to sort of carve a path through the corridor if they, or around the corridor rather, if they want. opti-fuzzy getting hit early. It looks like they're struggling a bit to identify where the safe place is. Oh man, they couldn't get out of there, so they already lost all their lives. Windows 95, not able to shoot the handful of asteroids coming towards them more quickly, so dropping a mine. Already lost a couple lives, but still, again, just continuing to shoot and suck up score. Yeah, it's a common strategy, I would say, is in a lot of the scenarios that we see in the competitions, and this may change in the future, but in a lot of the scenarios, you do have a nice advantage if you prioritize just shooting as much as you can. Oh, we're getting a little bit of FPS drop here by probably some of the heat map operations that opti-fuzzy was doing, but they weren't able to stay in the game for very long, so wound up dying already. Yep, Windows 95 carved out its path and able to just sit there and keep shooting up until the time limit is hit. Again, in these scenarios this year, we have unlimited ammo, so we're not restricting the agents as much as we have in the past in terms of ammo, and so they're able to just sit there and shoot as much as possible. opti-fuzzy has some pretty interesting behavior. Oh, look at that! Our first adversarial action. Windows 95 going over to just take the last life by ramming into opti-fuzzy and taking them out of the game. opti-fuzzy is now done with only 28 asteroid hits, and now Windows 95 is already an order of magnitude higher, just continuing to shoot after taking them out. We've seen some pretty interesting adversarial behaviors in the past with both mine placement, movement, and doing things like that, intentionally ramming to take away an opponent's last life. So this corridor is a bit more interesting. Both teams are put in a very tough spot. One much more than the other, of course, but they really have to try to move effectively or shoot effectively, like Windows 95 is doing right now. And we'll see the opposite condition here, where Windows 95 and the next version of this will be put up top. So yeah, Windows 95 up top, and opti-fuzzy, really interesting behavior in terms of how they're deciding to prioritize asteroids, and some interesting behavior with movement. They're able to identify that they need to move to a different location, but it looks like they may be having some issues with their wrap logic. Windows 95 finally moving, getting out of that situation, and putting themselves in a better spot to keep getting score. So this is our first quote-unquote big random scenario, so very dense fields. This is where we tend to see a lot of interesting behaviors when it comes to prioritization and movement. So a lot of the teams, especially in situations like this, they struggle to identify quote-unquote safe regions. And you can see, opti-fuzzy is doing a pretty decent job at moving when they need to, but I think they're having just issues with prioritizing the best asteroids to shoot. And you could tell the frame rate drop was probably due to their heat map, because once they were out of the game. Oh, Windows 95 dropping some effective mines and using their invincibility to oh, I don't know if that was intentional. opti-fuzzy came over and hit Windows 95. They weren't shooting asteroids. Wow, some really fun behavior here from both teams. One is trying to avoid the ring and get outside of it, and the other is just sitting there blasting mines, getting higher score. Some interesting behavior from Windows 95, placing mines maybe a bit early, and then opti-fuzzy getting caught in the middle, but then moving to get outside of it, but then again not identifying the threatening asteroids right next to it. Okay, so both teams start out in similar positions here. They're not really that advantaged, but they are, one team is much closer to the larger asteroid. These are the very small ones just to start off. Again, we're seeing a lot of shooting from the Alberta team, a good mine placement. The Japanese team doing some great movement there, but getting caught in the corner and not accounting for the wrap of the asteroids, it looks like, so already out of the game. Team TE also already out, but dropped a last mine there to gain more score. This is the same scenario, just flipping the ship positions. We do see the Japanese team effectively moving away, but then again getting caught, losing a life in the wrap. Continuing to shoot, surviving, almost. And then Team TE, similar to Windows 95, we see them shooting and dropping mines, but not really moving a whole lot. It'll be interesting to see. They were talking about having a RAM mode, so we'll see if they actually do that at some point. The wall's closing in. Team TE sacrificing a life to drop a mine early. I don't know if the Japanese team, I don't know if that was intentional, but they just they ran into Team TE, took a life from both teams. I wonder if that was, I don't think that was exactly worth it, but in terms of score, but maybe that was part of a strategy. Team TE, though, just sitting in the middle, just like Windows 95, just shooting and gaining score once the other team has... oh, wow. The Japanese team, Team Mopp, just not dealing with the wrap, I think, very well, because they got hit and then went across the wrap and got hit a few more times, probably lost their invincibility frames. Moving into the scissor scenarios, yeah, Team Mopp taking a hit early. Both teams taking a hit early, but Team Mopp getting out of there this time. I'm concerned about their wrapping though. It always scares me a little bit when they get over to that edge. But they are doing much better in this scenario. They just took another hit, but they're able to gain more score. They seem to be a bit hesitant, sort of like opti-fuzzy. They're prioritizing moving around and trying to get to a quote-unquote safe area, but then not getting as much score because they're not shooting as much. Team TE again shooting quite a bit, so we'll see who comes out on top. But Team TE is getting a lot of score in these early scenarios. It'll be interesting to see what happens once they get to the corridors. We've seen the both strategies in terms of moving versus shooting in these. Oh wow, they're right up against each other. Wow, running into each other. Oh wow, Team Mopp just going over and invading the personal space of Team TE there, taking away both teams' lives very quickly, so nobody was able to gain much score. Very similar in this case, although Team TE just continues to shoot, and Team Mopp seems to either move or shoot. They don't seem to want to shoot while they're avoiding. And this is interesting. Both teams, again, sitting right next to each other. Maybe, I think Team TE is helping out Team Mopp. I mean, they're both helping each other. They're both, they were helping each other. And then Team Mopp taking both teams out. Maybe that's the strategy there is get close and use the other team to help defend you from the asteroids, but then also eventually take away their lives as well to shorten the game. I don't know. So some very good carving out of a corridor by Team Mopp in this situation. Team TE just continuing to shoot as much as possible and gain score. But Team Mopp doing much better. Both teams have all of their lives still. We'll see. Is this going to be the case? Are both teams going to get out of this without a single death? It looks like we might. We're almost out of time. Score differential is pretty high still, but both teams able to actually carve out their little their spots in this corridor. Unfortunately, you don't gain score by not having deaths. Only as a tiebreaker. So shooting a lot more seems to be the better strategy at the moment, but Team Mopp performing well in this vertical corridor situation, much more so than the horizontal. But yeah, some really interesting behaviors there with both teams benefiting from the horizontal ones of being next to each other and sort of probably unintentionally cooperatively carving out these little safety areas. Team Mopp not able to survive for this the full duration this time, but still gaining a decent amount of score. This one's interesting. Team TE very much prioritizing carving out that path. Team Mopp also doing pretty well to carve out these. I'm impressed. Wow, Team Mopp doing much better in this scenario compared to the other two. I wonder if it has to do with like the density of the asteroids and how they're perceiving them to be threatening. This is really interesting. Again, no lives taken in this scenario yet. Team Mopp doing very well at moving and shooting. The combination of moving and shooting, I should say. Impressive behaviors there, even if they're not shooting as many asteroids as Team TE score-wise, but that can always be improved. Some more interesting behaviors. Team Mopp, Team TE still hasn't lost a life. Team Mopp able to effectively do the wrap this time. That was great to see. Team TE just carving out their little spot on the bottom, and now they're happy to sit there and take their pot shots. But Team Mopp doing very effective in these two curved corridor scenarios. Oh, finally took a hit there. And we still haven't seen any mines deployed from the other teams. We've seen mines deployed from the the Alberta teams, but nobody else is taking advantage of their mines at the moment. Team TE are already taking up a lot of their lives with mines. Team Mopp got caught by the the asteroids being blown their way by Team TE. I don't know. I don't know that I've seen anybody use mines and their destruction of asteroids, because it does impart momentum on them, as an offensive weapon or tactic yet. I don't know. Maybe that has happened and I just am not aware. But now we're getting to the favorites, the rings. Wow, Team TE just able to gain a whole bunch of score very quickly, and then Team Mopp not able to handle the rings that well. Both teams inside that ring. Wow, Team TE able to get a nice mine off to gain a bunch of score, and Team Mopp unfortunately not able to handle it. Now we've got a lot more asteroids coming at both teams. Team TE already laying an early mine, so we saw it gain a lot of score very quickly. Team Mopp looks like they're stuck. Will they continue to shoot? Oh, they continue to shoot, so they lost their invincibility frames. Oh boy. Oh man, Team TE laying them. Oh, Team TE. Both of these teams are exceptional at shooting, prioritizing asteroids and potentially adversarial behaviors. So we will see what happens here. Looks very even early on. What is going to be the differentiator? Is it going to be the rank? Wow, some early mine placement. Gaining score from the mines for Team HitorMiss, but then wow, the scores are very close. I don't know who's going to wind up doing better here. Lots of heavy shooting from both teams, gaining lots of score. Team Windows 95 at the very end, though. So now we're switching, and they're switching locations, and we'll see if HitorMiss can maybe eke out a win in this scenario, since they're technically in the better spot. I don't know. It looked like Team Windows 95 was able to do a little bit better there. We'll see if HitorMiss can take advantage. They're still alive. They're still gaining score. Oh man, this is very close early on. Maybe a slight edge to Windows 95. We'll see. Both getting caught, both dropping mines, both taking a life along with their mines. But again, continuing to shoot, continuing to gain score. HitorMiss has the advantage right now in this scenario. We'll see if that continues with these other closing wall scenarios. Very interesting. Man, this is a tight race. These are our first of the scissor, quote-unquote, scenarios where we have offset walls, so there are gaps where they can fly through, but neither team cares about that. They are just continuing to shoot and gain score. HitorMiss with the slight number advantage right now. We'll see if they can continue that. Both teams just firing at will. Oh, taking a life for HitorMiss, and then taking, this might be another one, not shooting as much. We'll see if they were able to catch up, if Windows 95 was able to catch up. Both teams getting caught there. Oh, I'm surprised Windows 95 didn't drop a mine. They have mines in all these scenarios, but they didn't wind up doing one. HitorMiss again with the slight advantage score-wise in this scenario. Not much, and Windows 95 only one life left. They still have mines. Will they be able to catch up? I don't know. They're right behind HitorMiss. Very interesting cases where, one of the teams, they might be shooting targets there. Wow. Windows 95, they're able to gain the score advantage and avoid getting a life taken by carving out a path more effectively. So they still have all their lives. HitorMiss, HitorMiss took them over in score. Oh my gosh, this is so close. What a matchup. This is crazy. Wow, what a matchup. So early mine deployment from Windows 95, getting a lot of score pretty early, but already taking 2 lives. So Windows 95 has to be careful. HitorMiss still has all their lives and not far behind them. Who's going to be able to get out of this one? Oh, wow. Windows 95 took a nice jump there in score. HitorMiss still not that far behind. They still have a bunch of mines. They still have all 3 lives. We're running out of time, though. What's going to happen? Looks like they're just going to continue to shoot since neither of them are being threatened. Wow. Very close edge to Windows 95 in that one. Windows 95 again deploying that early mine, just getting a nice jump and score, but HitorMiss right there with them, even though they haven't deployed one yet. So they're content to just continue to shoot and gain score the old-fashioned way. It looks like Windows 95. Oh wow, HitorMiss taking them over. They're neck and neck. 15 seconds left. Is anybody going to deploy mines if they don't have to try to gain score on the other? I wonder, we'll have to hear from the teams. I don't know if they take into account the other team, if they try to estimate their score and what they should do, but wow. These teams are so close. So now we have our vertical corridors. Both teams, as we expect, they're carving out their little path, and now they're just continuing to shoot and gain score. So now it's really just a numbers game. It looks like they may or may not even deploy mines because they don't have to. So yeah, maybe something for the teams to consider in the future. Do you deploy mines to just try to gain score and sacrifice lives? I know that one of them, I forget which, they had said that they do try to do that. But maybe because they're gaining score from shooting, maybe it's not prioritizing gaining score by deploying mines in that case, or maybe it's only towards the end or something like that. As I say that, Windows 95 deploying a mine, they're still neck and neck though, and in fact HitorMiss is slightly ahead without even using a mine. Yeah, HitorMiss just shooting as much as possible and prioritizing asteroids. I believe it was them that said they prioritize cases where they have to turn as little as possible. I know that Windows 95 does do something similar, but we see a lot more rotation from Windows 95 right now. They're spinning around quite a bit, whereas HitorMiss is just focusing fire in certain directions, and I didn't see who was ahead there, but we'll see at the end. So these curved corridors, interesting. Both teams doing well to carve out their little path. Neither one of them bothering to move as usual. That's okay. We'll see what happens here if anybody even deploys a mine. Yeah, it looks like since they don't have to, they're able to just sit here and shoot, and both of them are content to do that and see who wins score-wise rather than deploying mines. Same thing, reverse situations. Is everybody going to get through? Oh, Team Windows 95 not able to carve out their path. They wound up taking a life. They did deploy a mine, so they were able to gain a little bit more score. And they're right there with HitorMiss, but HitorMiss still not losing a life, not deploying a mine. They didn't have to, so they didn't. Wow, HitorMiss, I thought they weren't going to get hit at first. Oh wow, causing absolute chaos here. Both teams just in just in a mess, deploying their mines. They're both probably going to, deploying more mines. They're both already out of the game. I don't know who won that. We'll have to take a look. These are the quote-unquote big random scenarios, so we'll take a look at that in the results, who actually won those. Yeah, just a mess because these teams aren't moving. Yeah, they're just deploying mines because they're going to get hit anyway and trying to suck up score. Doing really well to... Oh, wow. Oh, no. Oh, no. Windows 95 deploying the mine and then shooting all the other asteroids, taking away HitorMiss's score, shooting the mines before the... shooting the asteroids before the mine detonated. Wow. Just stealing points. Oh, some interesting behavior here. Some early, maybe some premature deployment of mines from Windows 95. Oh man, HitorMiss causing absolute chaos here with a perfectly placed, perfectly timed. Again, Team Mopp-ciLabo, I'm just going to call them Team Mopp versus Windows 95. A lot of aggressive shooting, both teams early on, just like we just saw. Mopp-ciLabo in this case not threatened, so it's just going to sit there and shoot. Pretty interesting how its decision logic works there. Oof, Team Mopp already getting wiped out by some pretty intense asteroid density. Windows 95, again, just sitting there carving out. It's safe for the moment, and we'll see if it deploys a mine to gain some more score Looks like it probably will right here. Gaining quite a bit of score already. Now they're in the reverse situation. Team Mopp is in a better position relatively, but Windows 95 able to place a mine, only lose 1 life while doing so and gain a lot more score. Team Mopp still has all their life. Oh, as I said that, they took a hit. Team Windows 95 creating quite a bit of problems for everyone, laying those mines, making everything super chaotic. Now we'll see what happens. We've got walls closing in. Team Mopp shooting even more than Team Windows 95. A slight lead, but then taking a hit. Team Mopp dropping a mine. Wow, dropping a mine, sacrificing themselves to gain a little bit more score, but they're out of lives now, and Team Windows 95 able to just sit here and now collect score with no competition. This is a bad situation for Team Mopp in the long term. That's going to be a big differential. Wow, Team Windows 95 taking an early hit, not deploying a mine though, and Team Mopp able to effectively move and dodge those dangerous asteroids. Doing some really good prioritization from Team Mopp. They're identifying threats very well, and now they have all their lives left. They only have 10 more seconds though. How much more score can they gain? Can they actually gain more score to sort of close the gap? Oh, doesn't look like it. They did win that scenario, but man, that was a tough one for Windows 95 considering how well they've done in a lot of the other scenarios. Team Mopp ahead right now. They were able to move and keep shooting a little bit more effectively. We'll see if that holds up though, because right now they're avoiding and not shooting as much. Yeah, Windows 95 able to take the lead. And now we're running out of time, running out of asteroids. Let's see. No, Team Mopp is still lagging a little bit behind, but still very good performance here. Impressive from Team Mopp. Getting caught right here, I think that might have been quote-unquote helped by Windows 95. They were shooting some of the asteroids near Team Mopp and making life a little bit more difficult. So that is also a strategy we know that teams have talked about employing. I don't know if any of these teams explicitly have tried to quote-unquote make it harder on the opponent by making, shooting asteroids to make a denser field near them. I don't know if that's the case, but they certainly did that there. Oh boy, Team Mopp doing its usual tactics of being... Oh, Team Mopp taking out Windows 95. Now it's the only one left, but it has a big score differential. We'll see if it's able to actually catch up. It only has about 20 seconds left, and it's not firing as fast as it could, but we'll see if it can actually... gain a lot more score. I don't know. It's not shooting very fast. Can it take advantage? Almost there. Almost. Wow. Team Mopp able to actually take out Windows 95 and win this scenario by continuing to gain score. We'll see how big of a differential. Oh, got about 40. So now they're in opposite locations. We'll see. Windows 95. Oh, taking a life. Oh, did it again. But then only down to 1 life from Mopp again. Able to move away though, and so it is still again a big deficit at the moment. But it's the only one left alive. So is it able to catch up in this scenario? These wraps worry me, because of some of the deaths we've seen earlier. Mopp has to be careful here. They still haven't caught up. Oh, I don't think they were able to catch up. So even though they took out Team Windows 95, that early mine placement, I think, put Windows 95 on top. So we saw Mopp have some pretty good behaviors on these vertical corridors in its last matchup, but it seems to be struggling a little bit more now. I'm not sure why. It seems to be doing a little bit better here, yeah. So its movement is very good in terms of identifying threats and moving to a safe location, but it's not taking advantage by shooting very much. It seems to pause its shooting until it thinks it's safe to do so again, whereas Windows 95 doesn't care at all. It's just going to sit there and keep shooting. as much as possible, gaining score, which is the name of the game. Same situation, but positions reversed. Mopp doing pretty well. Windows 95 doing well. Laying an early mine, so getting a big score boost, losing a life. Team Mopp, though, being very cautious, being very safe, very conservative with its shots, and doing pretty well to carve out its little corridor, but lagging behind in terms of score. Windows 95 just pulling ahead, just continuing to fire at will, basically, and it's now the threat density is so low that Windows 95 can basically just spray in any direction. And now we're coming up to the curved corridors. These were some really interesting ones that we saw in our last matchup with HitorMiss and Team TE, or HitorMiss and Windows 95. That was interesting. It looked like Windows 95 was targeting some of the asteroids over by Mopp, and Mopp, unfortunately, has already lost a couple lives. Didn't use any mines, but able to avoid the mines pretty well. I'm impressed with the movement of Mopp. It is one of the more, I would say, it's pretty conservative in its movement, you can tell. It's not going wildly all over the place, but it is moving slightly. It's doing small adjustments to move itself right out of the way, whereas the Alberta teams are taking a different approach where instead of moving to avoid the asteroid, they said, well, what if there just wasn't an asteroid there? So different approaches. It'd be really interesting to see if Mopp can improve on this strategy and tactics where they have very effective movement, but maybe they can combine that with just more shooting, more score gaining, maybe some more adversarial things. We've already seen them go and ram the other teams a couple times. I don't know if that's intentional or not. So we're now into Team Mopp already taking all of its hits and out of the game. This field is so dense that teams are really put into it. Like, they're put in a terrible spot, and especially once they start laying mines, the density in this map is just, in order to get out of this one alive, you have to be exceptional at prioritizing in the asteroids, prioritizing mine placement, and shooting. All those things combined, and so those scenarios are some of the toughest ones out there. Windows 95, some premature mine placement, but able to effectively destroy it, gain all that score, and then Mopp couldn't handle the closing ring, and so Windows 95 placing a mine, moving away, and then taking out Team Mopp. So it's just soaking up a bunch of points here in these last remaining scenarios. We only have the one more scenario, these two closing rings. What's going to happen here? Some, again, premature mine placement by Windows 95. Team Mopp, though, just not able to handle the rings very well. Windows 95, not much surprise, both teams just going crazy, firing at all these asteroids. It'll be interesting to see who gets the advantage there in those very short, very fast scenarios at the beginning. You don't gain much score from them, but it's always interesting to see what happens. This one, we're hopping right into a much more dense field, seeing how the teams react, the agents react, rather. HitorMiss doing really well at threat prioritization. I'd be interested to maybe hear from the Alberta teams how they did their prioritization differently. I do have their notes on their agent behaviors, but I'll have to take a deep dive into that, because we are seeing some differences there, and HitorMiss is taking big advantages. They mentioned all the improvements that they made from version 2.0, because they were a competitor last year, and so was Windows 95. So yeah, some nice improvements, I would say, in terms of the targeting of asteroids for HitorMiss. Pretty good mine placement there. Pretty good mine placement by HitorMiss as well. Again, pretty evenly matched. we'll see. We'll see how they do. Um, Not much separation early on that I've seen in terms of score. I may have to add a running total into Kessler for situations like this as well, instead of the per scenario total on the right. Wow. Team HitorMiss gaining huge advantage early on. Lost a life, dropping a mine. Lost another life, dropping a mine, but that's okay. The mine was ineffectual, but I think that's just a timing thing. Oh wow, HitorMiss. Both teams losing all their lives. Really good mine placement by TE there. TE from that mine able to establish an early lead. I don't know if they'll be able to hang on. HitorMiss is coming up on them, but we have 10 seconds left. Doesn't look like there just weren't enough asteroids for HitorMiss to catch up in that situation. HitorMiss doing really well at prioritizing threats again. And I know I've said that multiple times, but it is impressive. You can tell how quickly it's changing from asteroids it has shot at or it's currently targeting, and it's pretty effective at doing that, especially when it has a much denser field of asteroids coming at it. Okay, both teams really doing well at carving out their path. TE helping out HitorMiss quite a bit. HitorMiss is starting to shoot a lot more of the ones off of the corridor that they're in. Now they're both doing that. They're neck and neck. Wow. This is going to be another really tight race, like we saw previously. So this is going to be pretty interesting. If the Alberta teams can put in the chat, did you do any sort of adversarial learning in terms of pitting your agents against each other to learn behaviors at all? You can just put in the team's chat and I'll read it out. So doing well again in these vertical corridors. One of the Alberta teams, Team TE, says that they did in fact train it against some of the other Alberta teams' solutions. It'd be really interesting to take that a lot further and incorporate movement as well as offensive action, more explicit offensive actions. And Team TE says they informed some of the decisions for target prioritization. So, that's the name of the game, especially in these cases. That's why HitorMiss is tending to get higher scores. It is just sucking up a lot of score, especially if you can take opportunities away from your opponent as well. That's a big advantage, especially when you have these razor thin margins between agents, like we're seeing. But like we're seeing here, HitorMiss establishing a lead and able to hang on to it. One of the improvements that I mentioned for both the website and the competition generally is when I mentioned the leaderboard and the ability to upload your agent, and it'll be evaluated so that you can see its performance against other solutions. It won't be meant to be a training platform, so there won't be an explicit way to do adversarial learning, quote unquote, but you will get a nice feel for how your solution is comparing against other top solutions that we've seen. So we're moving into the really dense fields here. You know, this is tricky when both teams are deploying mines, because they're going to get hit and just causing chaos. You know, neither team is focused on movement, so they're sort of at the mercy of the other as well, and themselves. Team TE just causing a lot of chaos over there. Well, HitorMiss getting into the fun as well. Interesting. So some pretty early mine deployment by TE, but they were able to effectively shoot all of their... Oh, wow, I don't know who won that. TE might have won that because then they started shooting HitorMisses. Wow, Team TE doing better on the ring closings. They're able to gain a lot of score by taking away the opponent's shots, like they just mentioned. You know, prioritization of asteroids. If you can take away your opponent's score, that helps you out quite a bit. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're getting... Oh my god.